Public relations at its core is teaching people how to think, talk, and speak about your brand, how to interact. You are teaching people, here's very clearly what I do, so you can repeat it to others. You're teaching people how to refer you, how to speak kindly of you in rooms that you're not in. That's all public relations is. It shouldn't be intimidating. It should actually be the first thing you do no matter what your business is: product, service, restaurant, boutique, brick and mortar, online, doesn't matter. Whether you're $0 and just starting out, whether you're a startup, whether you're asking for funding, not asking for funding, the 6 or 7 earners, public relations is free tools for you to promote your business. It's borrowing lanes from other people like the media, podcasts like this, other reputable outlets. Use those resources before you spend a penny on your business.
Welcome to the Powerhouse Podcast for founders and leaders, scaling smart and thriving without burnout. I'm Nicholle Overcamp. Stay with me here and let's get better together. All right, my powerhouses, welcome back. And I am so excited to talk about today's guest because she has spent nearly 3 decades helping founders stop being the best kept secret in their industry. KJ Blattenbauer is the founder of Hearsay PR and best-selling author of Pitchworthy, which I can't wait to talk about that book. It's fucking phenomenal. And she's built her career on helping credible experts and entrepreneurs turn their visibility into real authority and their credibility into actual revenue. So behind the scenes, she has helped clients land features in outlets like Forbes, The Today Show. And what I really appreciate about her approach is that she cuts through all of the noise around publicity and personal branding. And her philosophy is so simple. It's simply visibility isn't about doing more. Thank God. It's about becoming unmistakable in your industry. So if you are listening today and you know you're doing incredible work, but still feel like you are a bit of a hidden gem, this conversation is going to be for you. So welcome. I am so excited to have you here, KJ.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was an introduction. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And I had to shorten it up a lot. It's like the more that you accomplish, the longer it gets. And, where did all of this start over the last 30 years? Give us the rundown.
So I'm from the middle of North Dakota. Tiny town, right? And so when I was growing up, I didn't know what public relations was. It was before the internet, right? We were still looking things up in phone books. If I wanted to learn something, I was reading an encyclopedia. I'm sure people who are listening don't even know what that is. But I always wanted to do something bigger, right? I thought Hollywood and the glitz and the glam and the movies, it was so cool. I wanted to be Barbara Walters. I wanted to tell people's stories on the television. And very early on in school, someone told me I didn't have a face for television. And when you're young and you're impressionable, you listen to bullshit like that, right? Whether you believe it or not, it stays with you. And I'm like, okay, well, if I can't do things in front of the camera, maybe there's a life for me behind the camera. And so had an internship in radio. It just led to, I love talking. I was always the kid whose report card came home and it was like, would be a great student, talks too much, right? Here I am 30 years later, making a living, talking too much. Fantastic. When I went to college, I studied communications. I wanted to be a lawyer, got to the law school portion and hated it. The first class, I think I lasted 15 minutes and I bounced. I was like, nope, this is not where I'm going to shine. I will not excel here. And so I had fallen in love with a 2-week stint we did with public relations. And so I moved to the biggest city close to home, which at the time was Minneapolis. I was one of 175 candidates for a PR internship that paid literally peanuts. I didn't get the job because I was qualified. I definitely didn't get the job because I knew what I was talking about. I got the job because I was the only applicant that after wrote a thank you note, which to me is just common courtesy in business and in life. And because I did a handwritten thank you note, I stood out because the first lesson I learned about business that week was how you do one thing is how you do everything. And if you treat people with gratitude, grace, kindness, come from a place of service, you're always going to win no matter what the industry is. And so I literally got my start in public relations because someone told me I wasn't pretty enough for TV. I believed them. And I found a different way to do what I wanted to do. But I got my foot in the door just by doing the one thing other people weren't doing, showing gratitude.
Mm-hmm. I love that. It's huge. And it's the little stuff too, and how you show up and pay attention to the details. And even now, it's the job applicants too that we get, the ones that follow up, pay attention and do the things that no one else is doing are the only people I want to talk to. So here's to you. And now you got into PR internship. When did you actually start your company?
I was in public relations, small agency, large agency, international company, corporate. I did crisis communications for Dow Chemical all around the world. And then I went to Lifetime Fitness and was their head of PR for a few years. Before I was cold. Minnesota gets really freezing in the winter. I was ready for a change, but I'd done everything corporate I wanted to do. I literally had achieved every single thing on my bucket list. And I was like, what's next? So I had a pretty crappy review where I'd helped make the company millions. They were getting ready to sell out to private equity. They were buying up tons of other clubs, other businesses. And my boss said to me for like the third review in a row, everyone loves working with you, except you're just a little intense. You just care a little too much. It makes other people feel bad. And I thought, this is some bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't you want people to care too much? Don't you want people to fight for your company? Like I can show you on paper how I am making you millions of dollars and we're arguing over whether I'm going to get a measly 3% raise right now. Like we're really having this discussion. I quit my job right there. I just quit. No net, no plan, no whatever. I just quit. And I thought, if these people can't appreciate me, I need to go somewhere where people appreciate me. I wouldn't put up with this in any other relationship, family, friends, dating. Like I would not tolerate this. Why am I tolerating it where I spend most of my time? And so in a temporary lapse of judgment, I went down in a ball of flames and I quit. And the next day, the CEO came to my house and said, you can't quit. I will not accept your resignation. I'm like, well, that's not how resignations work. And so I made a deal with him. I said, for 30 days, and he said, no, you're giving me 90. And I'm like, fine, I'll give you 90. I came on as a contractor. I charged them twice as much as what they were paying me per hour. And then with sight unseen, I moved myself to California. I'd been there twice for 2 weekend events. I knew no one. Moved into apartment sight unseen, highly don't recommend. And when I got there, I'm like, okay, California doesn't have jobs for me that pay a living wage, or at least what I call a living wage. And what am I going to do? I need to do something. So I'm like, well, I have this contract.
Yeah.
I'm going to call every other business that I know or brand or competitor who's ever inquired about my services or me helping them, or people I think need PR help. I'm going to reach out to every single person I can think of. I'm just going to cold call them, see what happens. And so I reached out to a bunch of people. And by the end of that first week, I had 13 clients. And so 14 years ago, I started my own PR agency on accident. I'm an accidental entrepreneur.
That's amazing. I mean, I don't know how accidental, because you definitely knew what you were doing, but
Well, I mean, you didn't go. Like, I literally called these people. I'm like, I'll just do this temporary till I can find something. And I got to the end of the week and I'm like, crap, I don't need to invoice and like taxes. And I don't know any of these things. I'm like, I should probably incorporate a business. I'm standing there at the little city hall in San Diego and the lady's like, you have no idea what you're doing. And I'm like, no, I really, honestly, this is not the plan. Like, I never wanted to have my own business. I never thought of working for myself. Like, I was going to ride the corporate America, C-suite, VP, take care of everything, have that corner office, and like Miranda Priestley my way through life. And it just took a real sharp turn.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, God bless. Like,
Best thing.
Yeah, a similar story. And it's like, I also did the immature, like, I quit, I hate you, no plan. But ultimately, like, I'm so glad it happened that way, because I overanalyze everything. And if I had the time to think about what it would be like to start a business, I would have never done it. And it sounds like you might be the same way. So sometimes it's like good to fly blind and figure it out and do it messy.
Leap and the net will appear, because if I had done what they tell you, like make sure you have 6 months or a year, maybe 2 of savings, make sure you have a plan, make sure you whatever, I'd still be rotting in corporate America, miserable, hating my life. Like there's no way.
Well, and it's just that, I think we're always waiting for that perfect time, right? Especially as women, we want to do it perfectly and be prepared and all of those things. But I mean, let's be honest, cold calling sucks, and it's so hard and uncomfortable. And like, unless your back is against the wall, you're not excited to do that. And I got started the same way. So I feel ya. So good for you and the gumption that it took to get there. I love it. And so now you're in this space where I think it's really intimidating to a lot of business owners. And I think that, in conversation too, a lot of people don't really understand what PR is at its like core level and why you need it. And what, in your experience, is one of the biggest lies that entrepreneurs believe about publicity?
That it has to be expensive, that they have to hire a huge publicist or like a team of people, that they have to be a 6 or 7 figure earner or a famous celebrity or so many followers. And that is all lies. Public relations as an industry has the biggest PR problem, and they do it to themselves on purpose because they want you to have to hire someone. They want to charge you heavy retainers. They don't want you to do it yourself. When the truth is, public relations at its core is teaching people how to think, talk, and speak about your brand, how to interact. You are teaching people, here's very clearly what I do, so you can repeat it to others. You're teaching people how to refer you, how to speak kindly of you in rooms that you're not in. That's all public relations is. It shouldn't be intimidating. It should actually be the first thing you do no matter what your business is, product, service, restaurant, boutique, brick and mortar, online, doesn't matter. Whether you're $0 and just starting out, whether you're a startup, whether you're asking for funding, not asking for funding, the 6 or 7 earners, public relations is free tools for you to promote your business. It's borrowing lanes from other people like the media, podcasts like this, other reputable outlets. Use those resources before you spend a penny on your business. I have been in business for 14 years. I have spent $5 advertising my business. Everything else has been free. For my book launch, I didn't spend a dime and it went off without a hitch. So you can use other people's tools for free. And that's the beauty of public relations. It shouldn't be intimidating. It shouldn't be daunting. It is very, very simple when you boil it down to basic steps.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how in your book, actually, Pitchworthy, by the way, she has a best-selling book, Pitchworthy, which is phenomenal. I mentioned that earlier, but I read it on the plane just this past week, and you broke everything down so simply. And I think what was surprising for me is that sometimes you think about you have to have brand words or your brand statement and really understand that clear core message. Sometimes I believe my peers who are founders who have been in business for a very long time think, I don't need that. Right. That's just for a new business or a startup business. And what I have found is that every inflection point, you need to iterate, you need to fine tune, you need to tweak. You don't need to change. You don't need to do a rebrand. But I've learned, especially in my business, we have a financial planning company and talk about not only need to stand out and explain how we're different, but there's so many of us and what is different, but good luck explaining that in a way that sounds sexy, right? Or relatable. We've had to do so many versions of reiterating, and in reading your book now and what we're looking to do moving forward, because the market keeps changing. It's like, oh my gosh, like this is basic, but really hard to be clear and to get out of your own way, so what I'd love to know too, like what some tips you have, because again, when you even say, oh, it's so easy, I spent $5, or it's simple, like peel back some of the layers here, and giving some steps and foundational things to really think about, because I think we all know it. We've heard the term, right? But we don't actually understand the behind the scenes and the steps.
Right. Well, I think at a basis, no matter what your business is, no matter what you do, no matter if you're going to use PR or not, if you want to be successful in any aspect of your business, you have to stand out from the noise, right? With social media, with our phones in our hands, with the world being on fire or not on fire, like everything is coming at you all the time. There is so much noise. And the only thing that cuts through that noise is a very clear message. So no matter if you've been in business for forever or you're just starting out in business, you are going to be constantly evolving, but people can't buy from you, whether it's a product or a service. They can't shop you in person or online if they don't know what you're offering. And you have to be very clear. This is who I am. This is what I offer. Here's why it benefits you, target customer. Here's why you need it right now. I think all too often people spend so much time putting their marketing out there, putting their words out there, posting things to social media, and they're doing it from their standpoint, trying to get their words across, their brand across, everything, like forcing it at the customer. When the basic communication that you learn when you're a child is, no, you have to do it the way the person wants to receive it. You have to speak to your target audience the way that they can understand. You have to use words that they know. Like if you went to marriage counseling tomorrow, the first thing the marriage counselor is going to say is, your love language might be this, but your husband's might be this. And you guys got to meet in the middle. And that's literally the basis of business. You have to meet your customers where they are. So the first thing is, what do you want to be known for? How can you communicate that very clearly to your one target audience? And I know we can all appeal to everyone. Trust me. Public relations literally is for everyone, but I have a core target audience. And right now that's female founders. And I know if I just speak to female founders, I'm also going to resonate with the next ring out like their friends who maybe aren't founders and just want a personal brand, but then also like husbands or male friends. Like it all ripples out. But you have to start with your target audience. You have to speak to one because you need your messaging to be clear to cut through the noise. So the first thing, basic, no matter where you are in business, what do you want to be known for? Get very clear, be able to say that in one sentence, practice it everywhere, put it everywhere, be so sick of it. You hear it all the time because then you're going to know people are going to repeat it back to you. I think the second thing is who's the target audience? Who's your true target audience? And once you know what you want to be known for and who your true target audience is, it's easy to fill in the steps. Okay, if this is my target audience, what are they reading? What are they watching? What are they listening to? I only have to focus my efforts there. Maybe your target audience isn't on social media. Guess what you did? Just buy back 900 hours a month of your time because you don't have to be on social media, right? Things need to be simple or they can be as hard as we make them, right? Like you're in financial planning, you do financial services. People are so weird about their money because whether it's inherited from our parents or just money in general or how the world is, people panic. But what they want is someone that they can trust, that comforts them, that makes them feel seen, heard, and ready to tackle whatever is next. You got to tie into the emotions of the people. But are your people on social media? Are your people reading Forbes? I bet that they're not reading Forbes. You know, where are your people at? Only target them. When I was ready to launch the book, everyone told me, you got to post on social media at least 3 times a day. You got to do reels. You should probably get a TikTok. You got to grow your email list. And I thought, I don't have time for any of that. Like literally, I am running an agency. I have clients who depend on me. That sounds absolutely terrible. And I will not be dancing on TikTok, right? Like these are things I'm not going to do. And I even said to my publisher, if I will not be a bestseller because I'm not dancing on TikTok, kiss your bestseller status goodbye because I'm not interested in doing that. But what I do know is that and focused on female founders. They're busy. They don't have time to read magazines unless they want to peruse something on a plane to like just zone out. They aren't watching evening news. They're busy running a business, right? If they're on social media, it's to post their thing and bounce because again, they are running a business. But what they do have time to do is multitask. So they're listening to podcasts because they want to learn as they're busy making, creating, doing, working on stuff for their customers. I made it my mission to be on every single podcast I could find that focused on female founders, female empowerment, you know, being seen, empowering yourself over a certain age limit. I just made it my mission to show up on all of those. And it helped me make my first book a bestseller in half a day. It helped me make the workbook come out 2 weeks later and be a bestseller in 25 minutes. Those, you have to meet your people where they are. You have to know exactly what you stand for, what you want to be known for, who your target audience is, identify where they are. Everything else falls into place after that. You don't need to do anything else except meet those people where they are and clearly communicate to them. It truly is that simple.
I love that message. First of all, it's so true, but I also love that you stated specifically, like, go where your people are and don't listen to the other noise and advice that doesn't make sense for your target market, because we get the same shit all the time too. And I also am not dancing on TikTok. And, you know, it's people love to have advice and tell you what to do when they don't know specifically what you're trying to accomplish or they haven't been there before. So I think it's so important to be clear on that, but then shut out the stuff that doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate as well, like the fact that you were able to do that by only being on podcasts. That's huge.
Mhm.
So was that your whole strategy in launching the book? Was podcast, this is where my people are, that's what I'm sticking to, and cutting out all the other stuff?
Yeah, it was podcast. This is what I'm sticking to. And then, you know, when the book was getting ready to come out, they approached me again. They're like, okay, we're going to get you in a couple Barnes and Noble. You're going to sit there on a few Saturdays. You're going to have a card table. People can come to you. And I thought, that's the most boring thing I've ever heard of. I would never go to find a business book on a Saturday. Even to support one of my friends, I'd be like, you know what? I'll buy 50 copies a different time. I don't need to come to see a Barnes and Noble because I want people to feel seen, right? It's lonely being an entrepreneur. I want people to step into the spotlight and show how amazing they are. I want them to not feel like it's boasting or bragging, to talk about what they're passionate about, to sell their service or talk about their wins, right? And I wanted to make PR less of a spectacle for people. So I flipped that on its head. And outside of the podcast tour leading up to the book, when the book was almost ready to launch, I reached out to every entrepreneur group I know, all of my entrepreneur friends, strangers I didn't know, and cities I didn't know. And I said, hey, I will come for 20 minutes and give you a free PR workshop. And then we should have like 30 minutes of networking. You have a small business. You want to attract other people in the small business community. Let's get a networking thing going. Let's help each other because rising tide lifts all boats. I need to get out there and meet more people. I want to share the message of the book. I know your people will benefit from knowing people and your business will benefit from the traffic. Let's make that work. And I went from maybe having something in Dallas where I'm based to 26 cities being interested. And I couldn't do 26. So we narrowed it down to 16, but I got to do so many cool things for a month. And like that book tour again helped sell more books than I have ever imagined I was going to sell. It's been crazy, but it also is outside of the box thinking. Like my publisher was adamantly opposed to the pink cover, fought for the pink cover, adamantly opposed to my strategy for promotion, blew them away with that. I'm like, oh, see, the book's about PR and PR actually works. And then, they're like, I don't know. A publisher is done with you once the book is published, right? So they don't care if you sit in Barnes & Noble. They don't care if people are there. They've already collected their check. They're good, right? But I cared because once you write the book, that's the easy part. It's the promoting it. That's the hardest part for an author. And I'm like, if I'm here and I'm doing this, I want to meet the people I'm doing this for. And it was so good for my soul to challenge myself and get my introverted self out there to network with people. But it was so cool to like meet people and hear their stories, which is my favorite part of my job. And then to see people writing in their book, having post-its in the book, saying how the book helped them. It makes all those lonely years and nights and things you miss as an entrepreneur. It just makes it worth it to hear like, oh, I am making a difference to help people. This is worth it. And it's so cool. Highly recommend anyone go on a book tour. It'll change your life.
I mean, it sounds exhausting, but really cool. And I agree. Like that's the stuff that fills the cup, right? And anytime I get the opportunity to be in a room with other founders and have those conversations, I always leave with more energy, even if it feels really exhausting to get in that room, right? I think sometimes the last thing I want to do is go to an event at the end of the day, but once I get there, it's the best ever. Even, when speaking and being able to have the opportunity to hear how it helped is huge. And then it's the fuel for the next thing and the next thing. And that's the great thing about your book is it really is something that people can implement right away and use. It's not one of those books where, I've read so many. I read 100 books a year, right? Where you only get like surface level scratch stuff and you can't implement it immediately or use it right away. And it's not useful, where yours is actually useful, which is what I love for any team to pick up and kind of work through the basics and then decide on what's next. Quickie questions here. What is the best PR advice you've ever received when you were getting started?
Oh, that rejection's not personal. It's not. It's a business decision, right? Like I am already, by not doing anything, I'm already at no. I'm already rejected. I've already gone nowhere. I'm not achieving any of the things I want to. So if I reach out to someone and they say no or they don't respond, that's data. That's research. It's not personal. It's not even business. I haven't asked yet. And if someone says no, that just means not right now, not right time, not right pitch, or not right person. And I just need to redirect. So it's a learning curve. I think so many people were taught very young, don't fail, try again, but oh my God, don't fail. And so many people don't start because they're so worried about failing. I have a tech bro mantra. Like I have the mindset of a tech bro. I'm going to build this. I'm going to do it fast. I'm going to fail as fast as I can so I can do it better the next time. Like, please tell me no, please reject me. Cause otherwise we're wasting our time. Like tell me no, so I know the right way to do things. And I think that's one thing that I have very different from my peers. I think so many people are afraid to try. How hard can this be? Or are they going to say no? What's the worst thing they can do? Say no. Like who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I love that. I think when you remove that fear too of like, hey, no is a great thing. It's on to the next, or fail fast and learning. And for me, actually, that was game changing as I was building my company. Is as soon as I was like, okay, failing is not terrifying. It's a stepping stone. And a mentor told me that very similar advice actually. And it changed the game completely because I was always terrified of looking like a failure or failing or what would that be. And we make up these ridiculous stories in our heads of what failure even is. And it's like not that big of a deal. Like it sucks in the moment. It's not that big of a deal. You just like move on, you learn, you get better. And all of us, I think the more we talk about that too, the easier it becomes because we're not alone. We're all out there like fighting for our lives, like, trying to make this all work, So love that. And now what is the worst? Like, what is the worst PR advice that you see founders follow, especially female founders? Because that's really who we're talking to here.
Oh, the worst. Oh my God, there's so much out there. I could write a whole other book on the worst advice.
Top 3. I mean, shit, let's hear it.
Okay, so the worst advice is waiting, like that you have to wait. Well, you can't. It should be top of funnel. When you're incorporating your business, when you're trying to decide if all your social media handles should be the same, when you're trying to figure out your services and your offerings, that is the time to start putting yourself out there, planting the seed, testing your one-liner, like does it resonate with your audience, getting interviews lined up, starting to talk on podcasts. Like as soon as you have a link where someone can either pre-order, get on your email list, buy your services, that's the time for PR. Create the action, teach people about who you are and how they meet you right away. So waiting is a huge one. The other one is doing everything. Like visibility is not vanity, but visibility just to be everywhere for your ego or because you think you need to, you're going to tire yourself out faster than like a toddler. And you're also just not going to see the needle move, right? It's one thing to be out there. It's another thing to be out there specifically where your target audience is, because that builds authority. That leads to sales. That lifts your brand higher. Just being everywhere isn't going to do anything for you except put you everywhere. And then it's kind of like talking to everyone. If you're talking to everyone, you're not talking to anyone. So I could be in Forbes tomorrow. I could be an entrepreneur tomorrow. I could be in Inc. tomorrow. I could be in Time and People. I could call up everyone I know and hit every single outlet. Half of those aren't going to do anything for me because my target audience isn't there. And outside of my ego wanting me to be on the cover of Forbes, it won't move my business needle one bit. It won't do anything for my brand because who's reading Forbes? My competitors, and I don't want my competitors to know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not afraid of them, but why would I waste my time talking to them when I could be talking to people I truly serve? And so I think it's not using the spaghetti shotgun approach, right? We're not throwing everything at the wall. We're knowing who we are and what we want to do, what we want to be known for. We're knowing who we serve very specifically, and we're only showing up where those people are, right? So don't wait. Don't try and do everything. But also, I think the blind trust, right? At a very minimum, please read my book or PR 101 or something so you know enough to be dangerous. Because what I hate is that there are so many people out there who say, oh, I got press one time. I can help you with media. Here's $1,500 a month or $15,000 a month. And they're blindly spending this money on people who don't know what they're talking about. No. The key to business is you don't have to do everything yourself, but you should at least know enough to be dangerous, right? Am I going to do SEO or build my own website? No, I could, but my time's better spent elsewhere. But I know enough about it, so I know how to hire the right person so I don't get taken advantage of and it gets done the right way. And I think so many people don't do their research with public relations. They blindly trust because they see the big flashy person posting all the time on social media, or they see someone on stages all the time. Well, FYI, people can buy their way anywhere. So make sure that you have a true expert that knows what they're talking about. Like kick the tires, set up their discovery call, go that extra mile to know that you can trust that person before you sign up blindly, because that's how people get burned. And I think that's how my peers in the public relations industry have gotten a bad reputation. They don't know what they're talking about, but they're putting themselves out there like experts. It catches up with you real fast.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think in the world now, it's just the Wild West because it's easy for them to say that they're an expert and really just having discernment around what's best for you, your business, and then getting distracted by shit that doesn't matter. And when someone is researching a PR agency, actually, do you have questions that should be asked? Because I think sometimes what happens, and clients will say this to me all the time as well, is like, hey, I think you look credible. I like what you are saying on your website or social media, but I don't know what to ask. I don't know where to even start or to ask to know that I'm picking the right person or agency to help represent me.
Right. Well, I think for me, it's if they aren't going to do a discovery call with me, it's a no for me. Like if you can't spend 5 minutes talking to me, even 5 minutes talking to me, that tells me that you're not even going to spend 5 minutes focused on my business. I'm not blindly signing up for anyone. And it's not from budget reasons, right? Like I will spend the money where this money needs to be spent. But if you can't invest time with me, then that tells me that I'm not going to be an important client to you right off the bat. So I have to have face-to-face time with the person. And if on that call, I just want to do I like working with this person? Like, do I like this person? Can I handle this person? Because they're going to be up in my business. Do I even want to interact with this person, or would I leave a dinner as fast as I could if this person was the guest next to me? So it's rapport with the person. It's getting FaceTime with the person, but then it's also no question's a stupid question. Ask me everything. Have I worked with your industry before? What do I view as a success? How do I work in my day to day? And then the huge kicker for me is if they can't give me 2 or 3 clients that they have right now who are
Mhm.
working with them that can speak to how it is to work with them, give them a glowing 4 or 5-star or higher rating. I'm not working with that person. It's very rare that I'm gonna be the first person you work with unless I know you on a very personal level and I know that you can launch this thing. I want to know other people have worked with you because I've been burned too bad by all the flashy,
Yep.
ideas, big followers, talk on stages. Oh, everyone says this is the person. Does everyone? I wanna hear from their customers. And so that matters to me. And so I always have that at the ready. Like, I'm gonna give you at least 15, 30 minutes of my time. And half the
Mhm.
time I give people so much information, I've just talked them out of hiring me. I'm like, just go do that and come back. Like, it's fine because I would rather they go do that and come back when they need me versus waste their time with me
Mhm.
or their money. Like, I don't want to waste my money in business. I don't want anyone else to do that either. But I also always have clients at the ready. I have clients who would probably go to battle for me. I've had clients that have been around for a decade
Mhm.
because they love, like they love working with me and I love working with them and I hope they never go away. I cherish them like family, but at the same time, if I wasn't giving them the results, they wouldn't be sticking around.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a great point. Business is business, and you gotta
Mhm.
do that. But that's good advice. And I think sometimes we just don't do enough vetting ourselves, and we just trust what we see or hear. And everyone has such a unique need. So, and for those of you listening, like, don't be afraid to ask the questions and don't think that they're stupid, because there is no one else who's also going to advocate for you, your business, and you know what you need most. Like, nobody else knows that. And so have the confidence to ask every little detail to find the right fit, the right person, because PR is a big deal. And, I'd love to know your take on this too, as far as like visibility or credibility, what matters more, and where does the focus need to be if you're looking to grow?
I think credibility matters more than anything, especially now in business when there's so much noise out there.
Yeah.
When anyone can create the fake persona or AI is running rampant, I think that
Mhm.
credibility matters more than anything because visibility is great. It's what I do for a living, right? Very, very, very proud of that. And I also think visibility matters. But without credibility and a clear message, all visibility does is amplify that. So if you're not credible, visibility is going to amplify that real fast. If your message isn't clear, all visibility is going to get you is a very unclear message where people see you everywhere and they're like, I like this person, but what do they even do? Like, how do I buy from them? Like, so it's a waste of your time, right? You have to be credible, especially now when anyone can say they're a coach, when anyone can say they're an expert, when anyone can be on social media all the time, posting their stand store receipts and acting like they're a huge overnight success. You have to have the credibility and then you have to back that credibility up with vetted third party borrowed lanes. So it's like going to a restaurant, right? You don't go to a restaurant the first time you hear about the restaurant or the first time you see an ad. You wait till like maybe a friend recommends the restaurant or someone that you admire, like a food blogger or a local reporter or a critic reviews it. And then you see that. And then maybe you hear some more other things about this restaurant, right? It takes recognition and repetition for you to build trust and want to go try something. People are the same. Working with regular businesses like yours or mine, it's the same thing. You need credibility. It needs to compound. The first thing you're going to do to ruin that is have visibility in the wrong place or visibility focused on the wrong thing. And then you've just blown any attention you could have had.
Yeah. Love that. Yeah. Credibility is sustainable. Can stay
Mhm.
in this because you know what the hell you're doing. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Super awesome. And now, as we wrap, I would love to hear what you have to say to all of the women listening that are really trying to build something meaningful but feel invisible. What would you say to her?
You're a big fucking deal and you need to start acting like it. Okay. You created something either from scratch, either from an idea because you saw something missing in the marketplace or a loved one needed it. You put your blood, sweat, tears, probably all of your money and hard work into creating something. That hard work sadly is not going to speak for itself. You have to
Mhm.
go the extra mile and put yourself out there, right? Putting yourself into the spotlight, it's not boasting, it's not bragging, it's not making the person next to you feel small. It's coming from a place of service and no one can buy from you. They cannot be helped by what you've created. They cannot enjoy the art you're putting out in the world if they don't know it exists. You have to promote yourself. You are a big deal. Everyone has a story. You just need to acknowledge that and start acting like it. And I wish every single woman knew that, whether she's a business owner, whether she's not, whether she's climbing the corporate ladder, whether she has no desire, just even in your own home, you are a big deal. Please act like it.
Beautiful. I could not imagine a better way to end. Great message. Thank you so much. And we will have all of KJ's links, the book especially, in the show notes. You guys need to get this if you are looking to get visibility and understand how to be pitchworthy. So until next time, my powerhouses, continue to be courageous.